Hi, I'm Bruce Smith, supervising animator here at Walt Disney Studios. Okay, guys. Okay, so here's your toughest assignment, okay? So get your pencils ready. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through the process of creating Dr. Facilier, the evil Dr. Facilier. The idea of Dr. Facilier on The Princess and the Frog originally came from the directors of the movie, and they wanted a character who they felt like had a lot of charisma as he operates through the back part of New Orleans. And so when they gave that assignment to me, you know, as an animator, you always have to research your characters. So you think about, you know, characters that are very scary. And so, you know, in the catalog of Disney characters, you know, one of my favorite characters is Captain Hook, right? And I thought that Captain Hook was very funny while he's being scary, which I thought was important to this character. He has to be very funny, but also he has to have this sort of like elegance to him, right? So another one of my favorite characters in the Disney catalog is Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. She has this great sort of like, she's tall, she's lean, you know, she's evil. And I just thought, okay, what if I just sort of like mix the two, you know, and putting those two characters together I thought would be a great idea, a great place to start in terms of creating Dr. Facilier. Ooh, are you ready to take a journey with me to visit the evil Dr. Facilier? Come on, let's do it. Start with this evil circle. Everything you do at this point, kids, is going to be evil. Brace yourself. Cut that evil circle in half. Now, what's interesting about this circle is that we're going to work from the bottom of this circle. Now, the bottom of the circle is going to allow us to get the mean eyebrows. Then we'll work a couple of half circles off of that evil eyebrow. This will give us his eyes. Okay? So we'll put another half circle up in there, up against those evil eyebrows. See this line here? We're going to take this line a little further down. So now we're going to create some evil cheekbones. So now we're going to take another circle here and pull it off the sides of the eyebrows. What we're going to do next is we're going to find a place for his nose, right in the middle. Okay? We'll make an evil smile. So now we're going to make a little tighter circle there. This is a very difficult character to draw. And I would say to the parents that are actually right by their kids, watching their kids form themselves as artists, would be to nurture that, to encourage that as a parent. I mean, I think expressing themselves from an artistic standpoint allows them, you know, true growth as a person. Sort of building his mouth here. So, okay, so now we're going to, off of this evil grin, we're going to give him his chin. Take it down from both sides of the corner of that mouth there. See the corner of that mouth there? We're going to take his chin down, right about to there. All right, we're getting there. So now let's go in and make his hat. So now we're going to start it sort of like right at the corners of his eyebrows. Let's do like a half circle. You can even take the circle all the way through. Just do it like that. To make the top of the hat, we're going to go to the corners of this circle here. We're just going to build a hat from that. Big long cylinder here. Put a little corner at the top of that. So now we'll throw a little neck on him right here at the bottom here, right? Create his little jacket. So we've got just the general makings of what we feel like we can actually make this character with. So now we can go in and start making some shapes. Now the first thing I'm going to do actually is sort of make his hat. So let's go into this circle here and find his hat. So now we're going to take this piece of the circle here, make the band on this hat work. Okay, great. Now we've got a hat. So the hat works on top of the sketch. That's why I wanted to do this hat first. So now let's go in and find his eyes. Remember those eyebrows there? See that little piece of eyebrow that's bleeding? Don't worry about that. Actually, if you have it, you can erase it if you like. Just that little piece there you want to erase to make it feel like that this hat is really on top of his eyes. So now we're going to just draw his eyebrows in. Because the eyebrows work underneath the hat. The eyes are extremely important in every character, but in this case here, because he's evil, we really want to emphasize the evilness of this character. So let's really add some heavy line work on that eye. Now let's go in and find the rest of his, define the rest of his eye here. He has these little fun bags up under the eye, but what's key is keeping those shapes that we were drawing. Put a little pupil within that eye, like right in the middle of that shape there. Now we've got an eye that's really burning. Okay, so now let's, that little shape that we had for the nose, let's fill that in. All right, so now we're going to find his mouth. But you know, I'm going to do the mustache first. Go after the mustache. Put a nice little thickness on that mustache. Add just very thin top lip here that rides alongside of the mustache. And now let's find that smile. Following this little line here that divides everything down the middle. Now I'm going to find his bottom lip here. All right, so now let's get his chin now. That line that we made for the chin. Point, and we'll come off of that point too. It's getting there. You know what we'll do something we didn't find. We'll do his ears. We're going to find his ear right here. So we're just going to do a small little, put two lines together like that. Ear. That's the trick to drawing his ear. We've drawn a nose, and these shapes aren't easy to draw. So if you don't grab the shape of the nose the first time, it's something that you can keep practicing. But at least you know where this nose is placed and how to practice the shape of the nose as you go along as an artist. So now we've got all these things here that allow us to go back into the sketch. This is just his jacket here. You're going in and add his jacket. Got the little feather working off the side. With some practice, you'll be able to draw yourself your own perfect Dr. Facilier. Keep practicing, because practice makes perfect with this character. This is a very difficult character to draw. So if you got this far, I commend you as an artist. What we feel when we walk into the studio every morning, we're trying to share with all of these kids here in terms of, you know, this is what we do. We create magic off of this piece of paper, and we want to show you guys how to achieve that same thing with a piece of paper and a pencil, and how great it is as an artist to be able to express yourself that way.